Good morning, world.
Good morning.
So here we are. We told you on our last episode that we didn't think that the election would be over.
It's not officially over.
And part of it is, like we said last time, we need to learn and not do this silly mail-in voting again. And, you know, Trump said it wasn't going to work, and obviously, whatever side you're on, it's not working.
Right. It's not because we're pro-Trumpers. It's like the mail-in ballot doesn't work. It's not a feasible option to vote on something this magnitude.
Yeah, it just opens way too much up for fraud, either side, and the people on the other side should not want it either. So, anyway,
we're going to talk about that and more. I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I was just talking to my buddy Brian here, and I had a question for Brian. I was a little despondent, not going to lie, but I was asking Brian, why aren't you more outraged? Why don't we have our riot gear on and go out and loot and burn and pillage and throw a fit? Why aren't you feeling that way, Brian?
Well, he doesn't see me crying, sucking my thumb every night. No, I'm just kidding. No, and I heard a good thing on Dennis Prager. You have to look for the good in life. That's just a good general philosophy you should have. Things are not always going to go your way, but you can't be like those on the other side who screamed and rioted and pouted for 4 years because they didn't get your way. So you look for things that you enjoy doing. I enjoy making these YouTube episodes with Cedric. I enjoy, as you can see back here, I enjoy doing music. I can get away from it. That being said, I know this was important, and I know that it can affect our lives in the long run, and we still need to fight. And what we're going to do on this channel for this next 4 years is we're going to try to educate so that people can educate the younger viewers on, for one, the electoral college process, why we do that, because you hear all these young people and all these people on the left, oh, we should do away with it and it should just be a popular vote. There's a specific reason why the founders did it this way. It's brilliant, and we don't want to become a banana republic and just be ruled by majority. That's number one. So I am upset, Cedric.
But you brought up a good point. What happened right now is the exact reason why we need to keep the electoral college in place.
So we do want to educate you. We're going to bring up topics about the Constitution, about the founding of the United States, and try to educate, because what we see out there now and what I see with my own kids, they don't know anything about the founding of this country. They don't know anything about the Constitution. They couldn't tell you what the Bill of Rights said. That is a failure of our education system, and it's done purposefully. It's so that when you have a populace that is uninformed and uneducated, it is much easier to rule with tyranny. We want to make sure that doesn't happen. We're going to do this channel as an educational channel going forward with our stupid, goofy, 50-plus-year-old stuff, you know.
Right.
But we think it's important. The good thing, we can free up and do that because now we don't have to just sit there and defend Trump constantly from the attacks because of all those lies. At least that stuff should stop, but there's going to be plenty of lies, and we're going to try to point those out in general for everybody. So
until he starts his own talk show, his own YouTube channel, that'll be entertaining.
So I am upset.
One quick challenge, Brian said, it's been the fault of I call them the leftist indoctrination centers, government entertainment centers. I call them high schools, colleges. But as parents, we've kind of abdicated our authority over to the schools and kind of let them twist the minds of some of our young people. So parents, we got to take up that a little bit better and instruct our kids a little bit better and our grandchildren, because they are the next generation of voters.
We have failed as parents also, especially those of you who are libertarians, conservatives. If your kids slid, like some of our friends, they've slid all the way so far left that they believe in socialism, we can't just blame the schools. We have to take responsibility, and we need to teach these kids that this country, and the reason it has been so successful for the last 250 years is because of how it was set up. And the lies that are being perpetrated by people that are doing the 1619 Project and things like that, we have to educate kids that you can be right or left, but at least know the founding of this country. In the past, when we grew up, there was a right and left, but the left was basically, the big topics were civil rights, which they kind of hijacked and said, well, that's on the Democrat side. Right. I don't know if that's true or not. Abortion, yes, that is more on the right, defending the right for a baby to be born. But those used to be the talking points. We all agreed on the left and right that the United States was a terrific place and the best country there is. Somehow that has gone by the wayside, and it's sad. So hopefully we can bring back the separation, but the separation together, where we work on things together. I know now within the conservative and Republican movement, we've accepted so many people during this Trump era. We had the gays for Trump. We had the Latinos for Trump. Obviously, we had Brexit. So our pool is much bigger. And now within that pool, we can have arguments and friendly debates on, maybe one person in the Republican Party now is pro-life and the other one is not. But then we can discuss that as humans and why. Not this yelling at each other that, oh, you just don't care about women. That has nothing to do with it. The people that are pro-life, they care about the unborn babies, and they do call them babies. So these are the debates that we can have within the Republican Party and know that we can bring people in if that's their big thing. Hey, we accept pro-choice and pro-life in the Republican Party, but we'll debate it within our party. We're not going to yell at each other.
Yeah, but as responsible adults, we have to remember that, like Brian just said, we can have these discussions without disagreeing with someone. And if I disagree with you, doesn't mean I don't like you. Right. Because with the past 4 years, if not longer, it's like if you disagree with someone who was a minority or like that, then you were a racist or you were a sexist or you were some other ist. No, that's not the case. I don't agree with what you're saying. I want to have dialogue and discussion about it now and see if we can come to a mutual ground.
That's the long answer to Cedric's question on, I didn't seem that upset. What are you going to do? You're going to curl up in a ball for 4 years and cry? No. You're going to move forward. You're going to educate people. You're going to educate yourself. And then go forward and live your life. I mean, this COVID has taught a lot of people you don't know how much longer you have, so you might as well be happy, live free. That's the main thing. Liberty and freedom is one of the big tenets on the right, and that's what we want to make sure that we keep preaching.
Yeah. And I know this is probably going to happen, but a lot of our conservative friends who have either YouTube channels or TikTok channels or some other social media platform, put that word out that you take a loss, you take it like a big boy, and you move on. And like Brian just articulated, you talk about things, you discuss things, you don't go out and you kick your feet on the ground and hold your breath and steal and riot and loot. That solves nothing.
Yeah. I saw a funny meme today. I don't know if you saw it. It was from one of the conservative friends I have on Facebook. And it said, so when I start looting, do I start at Best Buy or Walmart? Because I'm new to this.
We don't know how. We need to take rioting and looting lessons from the left. Okay, the next thing I want to talk to Brian about is last 4 years, the people on The View and O'Brien and Jimmy Fallon and Fox and CNN had a lot of talking points. Now that Trump is on his way out, doesn't look like they have a lot to talk about. But Brian had a theory on as to why that happened. Brian, why don't you tell me what you were talking about?
Well, the question was, so everybody thinks Fox is the only conservative outlet out there.
Right. But like you were saying, though, Fox is the first one that said Trump lost Arizona.
That's what I was going to say. Why did Fox call Arizona first? I think them and the AP. Before MSNBC, before CNN, Fox said Arizona went to Biden. Here's my theory, and you have to go back. So for those of you that are young, bear with me for a second. Rush Limbaugh, for those of you who don't know him, he's probably the most famous, or at least in the 90s, he was the most famous conservative talk show host. This is before Hannity, before all the Fox guys. He came to prominence during, not a Republican, but during Clinton. He was the anti-Clinton guy. He became huge on conservative radio. CNN has been you only saw CNN when you're in the airport during Obama. But when did CNN blow up and MSNBC blow up? During Trump. So my theory is Fox ratings may have been a little lower, but if they can be the anti-Biden, then they will be the number one network for conservatives again. So they can place themselves in that space. I don't know if that's true or not, but it sure would make sense because you didn't hear much about Rush after Clinton left. I mean, he was still there. He was still a big talk show guy, but he was Not as big during the George Bush, and then obviously Obama. The conservatives got real big again because it's so much easier to be against somebody than to be for.
Yeah, every good movie, every good book, you need the hero, and the hero's our president. It's not a good story unless you have a villain.
Yeah.
Someone who's opposing them.
So I think Fox their ratings will go up when they get to be the anti-Biden because everybody else out there is going to be pro-Biden. Obviously, when Obama was president, all the major networks, they call it the legacy media.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just cheerleaders for him, and they were cheerleaders for Clinton. They're cheerleaders even for Jimmy Carter, for those of you old enough to remember, probably one of the worst presidents out there. And then when Bush came in, they hated Bush. Well, first they hated Reagan. This is when you actually had to turn a TV on to watch.
Right.
You know, ABC, CBS, NBC. Reagan was a racist. Reagan was everything they said about Trump, but people have short memories.
Right.
Bush, remember what happened when Ellen sat next to Bush at a Dallas game?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
People
the left
freaked
just
out.
basically took her gay card away from her.
Right.
So if for those of you who think that it's just about Trump, wake up. I was going to use the F word, but just wake up. You don't have to go back that far.
No.
They hated Bush. They told him he was an idiot, that he was the dumbest president ever. I mean, come on.
Yeah. By hook or crook, and again, we're not going to pontificate too much on that. The left got what they want. They got their man.
Pontificate? Ooh, man. Did you go to
Anyway,
thesaurus before we started?
I looked that up during our break. But it's back in the days in those movies when you hear that story about when they caught the kid smoking a cigarette behind the barn and they made him smoke the entire pack. Give them what they want, and we're going to sit back and watch, and hopefully, a show like Brian and I, hopefully we'll be truthful, we'll be honest. Yeah, we wanted Trump in office. Like I said, we can't ignore that. But we're going to try and give you honest, right, straightforward thoughts. There'll be Fox, and then right beneath Fox will be Cedric and Brian.
But the reason that we wanted Trump had nothing to do with Trump.
No.
Cedric and I, we didn't like what Trump tweeted most of the time either.
Yeah.
But guess what? The policies that he put forward... Here's my biggest worry about Biden. Okay, it's not the stuff that's going on here. I think that the riots will get less and all that because you won't have the whining babies out there. But here's what scares me. Trump did so good on the international front.
Yeah.
He was strong with China. He was great with the Middle East. He signed, 4 peace deals? 3 or 4 peace deals? He moved the embassy to Jerusalem, which everybody from Clinton on forward said they were going to do. He
talked about doing it. They talked about doing it. Never did it.
So when it comes to, that's the only thing that worries me. Are we going to lose those jobs now that he brought back? He had the best economy in our lifetime. It was the best economy for blacks and Latinos. Mm-hmm. So I just hope that Biden can't do too much to hurt those policies. I hope he doesn't raise the taxes so much to where people just start going overseas to do business again.
Right.
So that's what worries me. So I know our viewership, I know that's what worries you too. We just have to fight. Cedric and I are going to keep fighting. Just because we might have lost this battle, we're not going to keep fighting. We have to start earlier. We have to start changing the education system. We have to start changing media. Hopefully now that YouTube is big and all of these online, hopefully YouTube doesn't take down all the conservatives. Mm-hmm. But at least you get voices that aren't just your basic cable stations.
You know what else is great? What I've noticed in the last 3 to 5 days, it seems like the coronavirus has gone away. That's good. And Hunter Biden no longer has a laptop. A lot of things are being resolved now that Joe is in office.
Well, luckily Joe doesn't take office until, January
22nd or something like that.
Yeah, because hopefully this coronavirus shutdown nonsense is over by then and Joe won't shut the whole economy down, because if it is, then we're in for some hurt.
Yeah. All right. Again, make sure you guys share our video with everyone. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. And one thing you guys can count on, and we thank you guys for the comments. Thank you guys for pumping us up and gassing us up. Is keep promoting Cedric and Brian, because we're going to be here for the next 48 months and bring you guys news from the regular guy's perspective. And I think a lot of you appreciate that. But until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. See you in the next episode.